Bless me, I had to sneeze, but this is my creative research project. Welcome. This is me drawing a little person that's saying hello and welcome to this video. So yeah, welcome. And here I'm just going to explain to you what this is all about. This is a summary about the Greek tragedy Medea, and it's truly very interesting. Medea was very, very vicious and wild, and she had so many spiritual powers. She was one of the most powerful women in Greek mythology, and she is just a prime example of what can go wrong when a woman is in power. So, the Greeks really knew what they were doing when they were writing this play, because you'll just have to see in the end when you find out what happens at the end of the story. But I'm not going to spoil it for you right now. But yeah, she's pretty capable of some bad things, so stay tuned. And now I'm drawing a sad face that's crying, because this is a Greek tragedy, not a comedy, a tragedy, written by Euripides. Underlined it 3 times, just so you know. Now, just to make sure that no one makes the same mistake I did, when I first heard Medea, I thought of Tyler Perry's Medea. That is not the case. This is the Greek tragedy. Ignore the fact that I spelled tragedy wrong, but I spelled Medea correctly. Acknowledge that. Now, Medea was considered extremely strong as a woman during the time that she was alive, or said to be alive, since this was, written and not necessarily based on a true story. But she was a woman of many abilities, mostly supernatural abilities. She could defeat monsters, she could mix potions, cheat death, all these crazy things. So she was just wild, and she could get anything she wanted because she was so powerful and so intellectually inclined in that way. Medea was a princess, if you will, in the land of Colchis, because she was part of the royal family there. Part of her, power was connected to the gods, in the way that she was the granddaughter of the sun god Helios. And in some traditions, she was also descended from the goddess of witchcraft, Hecate, which would make sense, because she basically is the mother of witchcraft, the way that she maneuvers her supernatural abilities and everything. Now you see right here on the right side of the map that I'm drawing, Colchis is right there. X marks the spot. Now, as I said before, she's very sneaky. She has this name, Medea, which scholars have long recognized that likely stems from the Greek verb medomai, which means to scheme or to plot cleverly, which she is obviously very good at. Well, not very obviously yet, but it will be obviously later. This is me drawing her again, and then I draw a simulation of a snake right here to try to emulate that she is a snake, and I wrote "rawr" because you should be scared. Now, Medea, of course, lived in Colchis. This is me drawing the map again, because I'm doing it again. And it's important to know that her story is unforgettably forged with the myth of Jason, and his quest to obtain the Golden Fleece. Now, he made the quest from Greece to Colchis in order to obtain the Golden Fleece. And this kind of starts the whole debacle between the two. Now, ironically enough, since Jason was coming to Medea's homeland, the gods decided to struck her with a love arrow, basically, and make her fall in love with him. And so that is why I drew an arrow of one of the gods with a halo on top, shooting Medea with a love arrow to force her to fall in love with him and do things, crazy things, out of love for him. So This is her getting hit by the arrow and accepting the fact that she's falling in love with him. Not realizing that she's being, doodled with by the gods. She's just falling in love with him. And Jason is just a little derpy guy over there, just kind of like, okay, I guess I'll go with this if you'll help me out. And so, there they are. Now, as one would, Jason took advantage of this little moment that he was having with Medea, and he used her supernatural power to help him out and benefit himself for a moment, because he was on this quest to get this golden fleece, which was guarded by a dragon, as you can see what I'm drawing right here. And so Medea, out of so much love, just decided to sedate this dragon. As you can see, as he's just kind of derped out and his tongue's hanging out, all that. He's just kind of like, oh, whatever, because he's being sedated by her supernatural powers. And this is Jason holding the golden fleece that he graciously got because Medea was so loving and kind and gave him her power. So there's that. Now, sometime between this debacle of Jason getting the fleece and Medea falling in love with him, he vows to marry her. And so they decide to run away after he gets the golden fleece, and they run into her father right here that I just drew, and he's just kind of like, not on my watch, you are not going to do that, you're not going to run away. So then Medea uses her powers and dismembers her own brother. This is him crying, being dismembered and everything, in order to distract her father from them running away. So she basically killed her brother for that. Now, after this little debacle ceased, Medea and Jason decided to run away, and this is them running away to Greece. That's Medea, and that's Jason. So after the couple got away with fleeing, they went to Greece, they got married, as you can see with this little thing, and they just kind of plotted from there. They fell in love, of course, and they're getting ready to go to Iolcus, which is a homeland for Jason in a way because his uncle is ruling. But in their head, they thought that they were going to go to Iolcus and basically steal the throne because they had the golden fleece at this point. They were sadly mistaken because they wanted Jason to become king, but his uncle was king already. So here's his uncle just sitting in his throne. So Medea, of course, used her powers to convince him that, hey, I can turn you into a youthful man if you just get in this pot and you let me chop you up. And of course, he agreed, and stupidly enough, he died. As you can see by the X that I drew over him, he is no longer here. Now, as anyone who knows right from wrong would know, this did not float well. This did not get them what they wanted. The married couple ended up being banished from Iolcus. That is right, banished. That's why I drew an X. And they had to run away and flee to Corinth as fugitives. Now, on this next picture, you see I write down fugitives. It's a big deal. They're fugitives. They killed somebody. They killed a king. And so they fled to King Creon's protection in Corinth, and he kept them safe under his rule. As generous as he was to let them stay with him, they took advantage of it and had 2 kids. Now, after they had 2 kids, they kind of, as some marriages do, they fall apart a little bit, and Medea and Jason fall apart a little bit. So Jason ends up falling in love with King Creon's daughter, Glauc, who I'm drawing here, who is a princess, basically. And Medea did not take well to this. She was obviously not happy. She was mad. She was a powerful woman with a big ego, and that did not sit right with her. It made her gasp. It made her yell. It made her not happy. So she decided that she was going to take everything from him that she possibly could, that he could love or anything like that, and just do him the honors of not killing him, but killing everyone else around him. So she took a knife, killed her 2 kids, as you can see here. They're dead. They got X's over their eyes, everything. There's blood everywhere. And so before that, actually, she sent her 2 kids to the princess with treasure covered in poison in an attempt to kill her, which became successful. And it also became successful in her revenge for Jason because it left him lonely and with no kids and no lover. So this is the princess being dead, and then King Creon, who tried to tend to her death, also dead. And that is the end.